What's up, YouTube? So tonight we're going to talk about GOAT format and what I see as a problem, namely due to the influx of newer players to the format. Now, it's not that I feel that they're inflating the price of the CP cards, the champion pack cards, hollow goat cards, whether it be Wave Motion Cannon or Magician of Faith. Because to be honest, I have some of those cards too, and I'd like to acquire more, but they're just too damn expensive right now. No, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that they don't appreciate the spirit of the format. Now, the format was a tier zero format, and competitive players like tier zero formats because the variance is very limited. There's very, very little variance. Everyone ran the same 28, 35 cards. And so matches became a battle of skill, patience, resource management, etc. But the newer players are trying to apply, modern deck building practices to the past, and that totally warps the spirit of the spirit of the format. The whole idea why old school players like myself like the format is because you could afford to take no action and not immediately lose the game. You could set your scapegoat and pass turn and be reasonably assured that you were going to live several turns afterwards. The worst they could do was summon a surprise and either poke for 17 or, you know, summon Spirit Reaper and then you flip goats and eat a goat, or summon Sangin and you just take the 1,000 and then wait for the Genzo, or just take the 1,000 and not run into an Air Knight. So you had to make those calculated decisions, but you weren't losing that turn. You weren't going to lose in a couple of turns. You had at least 15 more turns to accrue resources and make a comeback. We all ran standardized builds, the iconic monsters, whether it be, Tsukiyomi, Didi Warrior Lady, they're all important. Serpent, Sangin, Tribe, those are standard monsters. The standard spells, Snatch Steal, the Trinity, Duo, Pot, Graceful, and then the godly lineup of traps, Ring, Call, Torrential Mirror Force. Every deck ran those, and again, it just came down to a battle of skill. Now, of course, there were other decks that were acceptable. There was battle recruiters, whether it be Tomato Control or giant rats with battle oxes and berserk gorillas and King Tiger Wangu, whatnot. Earth Beat Down or Beast Down, it was called. You had the Injection Fairy Lily that you got off a giant rat. Yeah, those decks were fine. Also, zombie builds with the Reapers and the Pyramid Turtle, Ryokoki, and Vampire Lord. Again, fine. Those cards were balanced for the format. Goat decks had natural outs to it, and that's why it was the tier zero deck at the time. Now, going back to how the format got ruined, is you have players popping up with Xarian Universe. I don't know who decided it, but long ago, Go players decided, old school Go players decided that Xarian Universe warped the format too much. It made the format no fun, because it's one thing to get poked by Enraged Battle Ox for 17 because you could summon Tsukiyomi and kill it because it only had 1,000 defense. It was also another thing to get hit for 19 and let them draw a card with Air Knight, because Air Knight takes 2 cards to get to the field. Either you tribute summon him or you pitch him off for Graceful and then use a revival card. So he took work to get to the field. But Xarian Universe, on the other hand, had 900 defense. So Tsukiyomi wasn't an out to him. You know, your only really real main deck out to him was Breaker. But if they had a response to Breaker, like let's say Book of Moon, then your Breaker is going to lose you 400 life points because it's going to get ran over by Xerion. And so as you see, it's just warping. You know, the biggest power card in the GOAT deck was Breaker at 1900, and Xerion ruined that because when he was in defense mode, he had 1900 defense, and if you didn't have access to Snatch Steal or Thousand Eyes Restrict, or you didn't want to burn it, you wanted to save those for the Genzo or the Air Knight or the BLS, you know, you were stuck, and that's why he warped the format. You had to burn power cards on a level 4 monster. Now, again, we'd be perfectly fine if, a newer player came to our group and played Soul Control. Because again, GOAT decks have natural outs in the form of Tsukiyomi to all of the monarchs. What we don't appreciate are flip-flop control decks. And I'm sure you've seen them around, some variation of Triple Judgment, Triple Dust Shoe, Triple Time Seal, Triple Wind Blast, with Mask of Darkness, Tsukiyomi, Swarm of Locusts, Swarm of Scarabs, Thunder Dragons for your lights, and then BLS is your finisher. Yeah, that deck, if I was to enter a GOAT format tournament and the goal was to be a try hard and win, yeah, all day, every day. Hell, I'd even run Reasoning Gate. I'll try to have a description down below to my ham Reasoning Gate deck that I made years and years ago. But yeah, I would run one of those to a tournament because I would be in try hard mode. But if I'm getting together with a group of guys who casually play GOATs to enjoy the purity of it, no, if they punch me in the face, I would deserve it. I deserve their broken nose. So if you're a new GOAT player, I hope you understand. We don't hate you. We just wish that you respected the format and the spirit and the whole reason why we play it the way we play. And for any of those interested, GOAT format, the way a majority of us play it, is the sets up until Flaming Eternity. So the last, the decks that topped at that time had Sycophants, Nephthys, Hand of Nephthys, BLS, etc. So it's more or less Apprentice Magician engine to get your Hand of Nephthys, and then you would tribute Hand of Nephthys and whatever you brain controlled, because brain control came out of the Lost Millennium, and that was the set before Flaming Eternity, and so it was legal at the time. And that was also the time that Soul Control came out because of brain control. So yeah, those decks are perfectly fine because, again, there was natural outs. DD Warrior Lady was your out the Nephthys. Tsukiyomi plus Cross Out was your out the Nephthys because Nephthys was just at 1. The Monarchs only had 1,000 defense. And those are perfectly fine. Tell me what you think down below. This is something that's really been bothering me for a couple of years now, and I had to get it off my chest. Anyway, it's Dubk Dad, and I'm out.